everyone, it's Syndi here. I watched Poor Things recently and we need to talk about it. I've been an admirer of Yorgos Lanthimos' work since I watched The Lobster a few years ago. So when I saw he had a new movie debuting a couple of months ago, I was intrigued but not wholly excited. Most people describe Yorgos' films as weird or too abstract, and I get that perspective. However, I think that although his movies are definitely surrealist, it still has a lot to say and poses great questions to the audience. His films never spoon feed you a message or present easy answers, which is really important in all art and a rarity nowadays in cinema overall. But last year, I paid money and sat through Beau is Afraid, a 3-hour anxiety trip to nowhere, and Saltburn, which was just awful, and you can see our review for the reasons why. So I had my fill with the weird, quirky, highbrow movies for the time being. Unfortunately, that dissuaded me from being really excited about Poor Things, which, despite rave reviews, seems like another weird film where Emma Stone does a crazy dance routine in the middle of a restaurant. Eventually, the buzz around the film wore me down and I went to watch it. Poor Things is about Bella Baxter, a woman who ended her own life and was brought back to life by a scientist slash mortician named Godwin Baxter, played by Willem Dafoe. Dafoe is Frankenstein and Stone is Frankenstein's monster, except Bella, whose real name is Victoria, was actually pregnant when she killed herself, and Godwin takes the fetus's brain from Victoria's baby and enters it into his new creation's head. So we watch a grown woman with the brain of a baby figure out the wonders and horrors of life. While I was watching this, I couldn't help but think of Greta Gerwig's Barbie, which also came out last year. The movies have some striking similarities. Both are fish out of water stories where two grown women are thrown into the real world and have to come to terms with it. Both women struggle understanding the complexities of life, are fully autonomous, and by the end embrace being human. Barbie runs into itself by trying to be self aware, but at the same time propagating the ideals it seems to be criticizing. Poor Things is more of a feminist movie because it goes deeper into what feminism is and how it is displayed. Bella pleasures herself, takes a lover instead of getting married, isn't polite, makes a show of herself, reads philosophic texts, becomes a sex worker, is in a queer relationship, rejects marriage altogether, and follows her passion into studying medicine. Because the character, as Stone puts it, has no shame, Bella isn't bound by the social conventions of being a woman, or even caring about what those conventions are to begin with. Bella Baxter does what she wants and gets the most out of life by barreling head and body first into every experience. That being said, Bella Baxter is still a white woman in the 19th century. She's attractive and able bodied, and so even in this can't fully be representative of the female experience. White feminism seems like the only kind of feminism directors want to showcase. That to me is the only real drawback of this film. Black women never get to have these kinds of roles, and writers, directors, and studios aren't interested in giving them those opportunities. Keke Palmer would have been a killer Bella Baxter. It would also be worthwhile to really discuss other often maligned issues that Black women or any woman of color faces. Still, I think it's pretty impressive that men were able to depict a female perspective in such a nuanced way. I like that in this film they didn't shy away from challenging subject matter, like sex work or having multiple sexual partners. They present both cases in vivid detail. Fair warning, there are a lot of graphic sex scenes and nudity in this one, but the film really leaves you as an audience member to decide how you feel about it by laying out all sides of the issue equally. Besides the thesis of this film, every technical aspect is flawless. The exquisite production design, the music, and the cinematography by Robbie Ryan just makes you want to live in this world. Emma Stone's performance is surprising, refreshing, and daring, and definitely worth her Oscar nomination. Mark Ruffalo's performance is crazy and totally unexpected, but so perfectly executed that I wanted to hurt him physically and also couldn't take my eyes off of him every time he was on screen. My favorite performance came from Rami Youssef's character of Max, who was sweet and supportive to Stone's Bella, even though he also does some morally questionable things. I don't think I've seen anything like this movie before. What I left the film with is that every woman deserves to have ownership over her own life, but we have to fight for it. Patriarchy is still dominating our lives and how others see us, but we have a right to make our own space, be seen, be respected, and thrive. I question how much sexual exploration enables one to finding their own identity, which I've seen a lot when it comes to women in media. My read is that Bella always had a curious mind, and that because of who she was raised by, she would inevitably want to become a doctor. So I guess the exploration of sex in the film has more to do with her being self determined and not being held down by anyone. It could also serve as a comment on a woman's role in society. Bella doesn't want children and has never felt maternal. Bella, or Victoria, also jumps off a bridge while in the late stages of her pregnancy. With Roe versus Wade being overturned and the fight for abortion access still ongoing, that part of the film could be a nod to what's happening in the present day. Either way, Poor Things is an excellent film and I believe should be part of the feminist cinema canon moving forward. Go watch Poor Things, let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video.
Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast because the 16mm Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.